I know that you're obviously privy to a ton of information like behind the scenes that, fans and even myself aren't really privy to. But, you guys have been trying to make this Anthony Joshua fight for the longest. And, Deontay just came out with a video recently and, kind of somewhat pleading to Joshua saying, let's make this fight happen before our careers come to a close. Um, I don't want to say, do you not see that fight not happening anymore, but are you kind of shifting gears a little bit to where you have a list of people and Joshua was number one? Are you now kind of putting Joshua at like number two or three because it doesn't really feel realistic anymore?
I just don't think it doesn't matter to AJ if he fights Deontay Wilder. It matters to Deontay if he fights Anthony Joshua because Deontay is a man of legacy. He's a man of history, history books, chasing greatness. AJ doesn't campaign for the fight. Deontay has called him out humbly. He has called him out violently. He has called him out after fights. He has called him out before fights. AJ giving interviews and act like he's scared to say the man's name.
Hmm.
It's like it's like the broadcasters or the commentators have to like pull it out of him. He'd rather come up with imaginary quotes like he's carrying this division, this heavyweight division on his back. Like how? Like where is this coming from? He's just not. I don't know, man. Like you got to campaign for big fights as a fighter if you want them. Ali and Frazier campaigned for each other. Ray Leonard and Hagler campaigned for each other. Like that's just the name of the game. It's a part of the greatest show on earth. AJ
Well,
has never done that, but he's never done that because he never had nobody constantly calling him out. Well, it's time for you to do something new because you have something new in front of you.
well,
Like Deontay, go
no, I just wanted to say you're saying that he's not campaigning for the fight. I mean, I think that's fair to a certain degree. I know I have heard AJ say that he really wants to fight. Not as much as Wilder said he wants to fight AJ. Wilder says it like every other day, but I know I have heard AJ say it. But what about like behind the scenes? And you don't have to like tell us exactly what's going on, but is it kind of the same behind the scenes where it's like, all right, he's making it more difficult to actually make this fight happen, whether it be like certain things he's demanding or you guys are sending out contracts and he's not like answering right away. It's hard to get people on the phone. Like is stuff behind the scenes like
well. The Saudi, everything that was supposed to take place in Saudi Arabia, things have came to a standstill for whatever reasons. I'm not that deep into the business to know who is who and what is what and why that has been put to a standstill. But what I do know is that Vegas have tons of venues. The Wembley in the UK is a huge venue that Deontay and AJ can sell out. Let's get the fucking fight made. But to get the fight made, to me, the two fighters have to push, 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 and push the fight. In my opinion, Deontay been doing it. Think about the situation that happened. Forget what I'm saying. Think about the situation that happened years ago when AJ literally asked for a number. Deontay and the team came up with the number, and then the fight didn't happen. What was that about? He said, "Give me $50 million and I'll fight you." The team came up with the 50, and then what?
okay, so now you saying that's a fair and excellent point. But then I
Yeah.
think other people will push back and say, well, I don't remember the year exactly it was where apparently Team Joshua offered Deontay, I think it was like a two-fight deal for like 100 million, something like that, to fight him on the zone. I don't remember the exact specifics, and that fight didn't happen for whatever reason. So what would be like your pushback for that?
I'll have a pushback for that, but I know that, in my opinion, I've never heard Deontay say a bold number and then a number get brought to him and he say, "No, I'm not doing that." I'm only going off of literally what came after eight out of AJ's mouth, bro. Like you know what I mean? Anything that thing that happened with the zone that was behind closed doors, business get real fickle behind closed doors. Numbers become one number, but they told that is another number. The fighters aren't happy, so then it's that. I'm only going off the raw form right now. The raw form is, and I mean what I mean by that is what we all have seen as fans. And that's when AJ asked for 50 million. Then 50 million came to him. And then it was a no. And then I believe they even kind of regretted saying the 50 million because Deontay called their bluff. So it's just one of those things, man. Do I think he would fight Deontay? Absolutely. Do I think he want to? At times, yes. But then at times, I think he's just done with it. He just like over it. And in my opinion, you just have to campaign for these kind of. You have to campaign for these kind of big fights. You just have to campaign for them, bro.
Well, okay. Well, when you look at, I mean, we all want the Joshua fight. I think a ton of us want the Francis fight. But before I actually ask you my next question, if you could choose, would you rather fight Francis or would you rather fight Joshua? Not in terms of like who's more dangerous or whatever, but for whatever reason, who would you?
Joshua, Joshua. Yeah, I'm a geek. I'm a boxing head, and that's always going to come first. And the geek boxing head side of me is always going to go with the best fight that's coming from boxing, not entertainment. And in this fight, it just so happened to be a lot of boxing, a lot of entertainment, a lot of history to be made. And I can't make it no clear, man. I just want Deontay to fight Anthony Joshua. I want Anthony Joshua to fight Deontay Wilder. That's my favorite fight in boxing. That's the biggest fight in boxing, in my opinion. But it's coming across now like it's getting ready to be the Lennox Lewis Riddick Bull fight, and that's very frustrating.
Let's not go back down that road, man. I
Mm-hmm.
don't get me started with that. But
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know. So, obviously you guys are still trying to work out this deal with Joshua. Apparently you guys said you guys are in communications with like Team Francis Ngannou and whatever. But realistically, Wilder hasn't really fought. I mean, when was the third Tyson Fury fight was in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yeah.
I don't really think you could count Wilder fight against Hellenius because he didn't get hit one time. He threw one punch and the fight was over. It was
Yeah.
great. It was a highlight reel, but it's like
It
would
wasn't no real work.
yeah, so wouldn't you, as you guys continue to try to get this fight, wouldn't you guys wanna, I know you guys tried to get Ruiz, wouldn't you guys want to get like a few other guys just to like, all right, let's get paid, let's make sure we're not rusty. Like, would you rather do that?
Yeah, but those, I mean, that would be good. But those other guys, man, they want so much money. They want so much money in the business aspect. The kind of money that they want is not on the table. But they know who they up against, so they being very, very difficult and just taking advantage of an opportunity.
Hmm, fair enough, man.
So,
And no,
bro,
go ahead.
I'm just saying those options are on the table, and the general public have to know that's an option. But you have to know there's a reason why it's not happening because we are just sitting around or we are not trying to make it happen. Got to get a suitable opponent. The networks have to buy into the fight. They have to buy into the opponent and have to be worth their while, especially now. Boxing is not in the best place right now concerning networks, concerning purses, concerning revenue. It's just not right now. And fights like last night is where, to me, the big budgets are at in boxing right now for high level fights. The budget is in the pure entertainment. The budget is in Saudi Arabia. The budget is what Saudi Arabia is doing. The budget is in what Saudi Arabia is doing right now. And these guys got to get paid, man. Big fights like this, because when boxing is over, like the revenue is what's going to carry these guys' family and build generational wealth. So I understand that's the only part of the business I understand is these guys always trying to get the most that they can get for doing the most of it is that they're asked to do. But it's frustrating because I'm a head trainer. I'm training the most dynamic fighter in the history of the sport, in my opinion. I want the world to see more of them. Um, if you know me, you have to know I want Deontay Wilder more active. You have to. Everything about my makeup says I want to train active fighters. Everything about my makeup says I want the best fights for my guys. The best fight for Deontay is Anthony Joshua. That's the fight that I want. But I truly, truly believe that characteristically, AJ have to campaign for the fight more. You have to act like you want to fight people. You can't act like you want to fight people in this day and time when the business is how it is just by training in the gym.
For sure.
Like you just can't. There is no more disciplined fighters, in my opinion, than Bernard Hopkins and Marvin Hagler. And if those 2 disciplined type militant guys can campaign for fights, Anybody should be able to, because ain't nobody in the gym working hard more than they is or more than they was. And bro, they was out there campaign, bro. I got one better. There was a time that Deontay was getting ready to fly over. Sky Sports set it all up. Fly over to UK when AJ was fighting. I believe it was Joseph Parker. After the fight, they was going to do a face-off, have a date set for the fight. You know, put some good marks behind the fight. AJ, I heard, put out a thing that no, I'm not fighting if they let Deontay Wilder in the ring after I fight. It's for us to do a face-off. I'm not interested in it. What the fuck is that? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, that's not campaigning for a big fight, in my opinion. I know everybody moving their own way, but you got to campaign for big fights, and you can't really like do that by hiding behind the business.
Gotcha. Just my last few questions for you.
Yeah.
Just wanted you to kind of just circle back real quick and just, you're always a thoughtful guy and you've been in the sport for longer than I've probably been alive. So just wanted to get your thoughts on the whole Showtime leaving the sport at the end of the year. Like, what are your thoughts on that now?
Well, it's like Bernard Hopkins say, it's a new world order, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something, HBO left. To me, HBO was one of the biggest brands, markets, networks to me that was ever created, especially behind sports and boxing and everything like that. HBO left, the sport of boxing moved on. We all continue to grow and go on to, you could say, quote unquote better things. And now Showtime is leaving. It's not, the most happiest time, but we all have to go to, especially the people that's in those positions concerning networks and agents and managers and things like that. It's time to like go into your pocket. It's time to get other brands behind you. It's time to get other networks behind you. It's time to make bigger business moves. It's time to like switch things up a bit. So, you know,
Fair enough.
we're order.
Fair enough. Still a little depressing, but
Yeah,
and
big time, big time, big time.
sure.
I wouldn't say depressing for me because I watch boxing. Um, just make these kind of turns tons and tons of times since I just been coming up watching it as a kid. But I think Bernard Hopkins said it the best. Curtis Mayfield. It's a new world order, man, and we all have to adapt to it quickly. We can't really complain about it because 5 months from now we're gonna be on to the next thing, and it's just like in real life when death happens, we all mourn for a minute, but 5 months from now life goes on and we all on to bigger and better things, or not. You know what I mean? But the show must go on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And just wanted to also touch on this part with Deontay. He's obviously not going to fight this year. The goal is to fight next year. Where do you kind of see, because at least to a certain degree, you're also helping to shape the last few years of his career. So how exactly do you see that kind of happening? Like, do you see yourself, all right, I'm gonna fight Joshua. Usyk is gonna fight Fury. Usyk is gonna win that fight, and then I'm gonna go ahead and then fight Usyk for undisputed. Like, is that kind of how you see things playing out?
It, we're so, my opinion, we're so close, but so far out because of the inactivity that I'm not even thinking that far. Coming from a compassionate standpoint of Deontay, his career, and him being active, I'm just concerned about him being active. I'm concerned about him making high revenue. I'm concerned about people seeing him. I'm concerned about him in training camp. I'm concerned about him continuing to develop more and more as a better fighter. And I'm continue, and I'm always just wanting the best for him. So I'm not even thinking like that far. I'm thinking about his next fight. And if you think and you get where I'm coming from, thinking about his next fight is a lot for all of us to deal with right now because we just don't know when it is. And
Yeah.
that right there is a mission within itself. So if you would have asked me this 7 months ago, I would have said, yeah, we're going to do this, do that, and then do that. But now I'm like, no, no, no. This thing is really one thing at a time. My brother, my fighter, hasn't even been in the ring in over what? How many months has it been?
It was
However many months. That's what I mean.
last year, October, I believe.
That's what I'm saying. So the biggest mission right now is getting him active and getting him well paid. And that right there is the only thing I'm focused on right now. Them titles, those and all of that, that's gonna come. But it's gonna come as he gets in the ring more often. And when I say more often, I don't mean a ton of time because he's big time boxing. But he got to get in the ring. We need more activity. We need high revenue and big time boxing fights. And that's what we're negotiating right now. Big time boxing fights. And when he's back, the electricity is back in the division. Because right now, last night that it was electricity because of Francis not having no experience in doing what he did. But yeah, I ain't see nothing. I ain't see nothing. I ain't see nothing. I ain't see nothing. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Look, man, always appreciate you jumping on, take the time. Everybody wanted to hear
Absolutely, brother.
your thoughts on this, man. So thank you again.
Yeah.
Hopefully we could do another one real soon, man. Thank you.
Yes, my man.